today we can have class with Elavaya, but she is not feeling well. Lord, we ask you to give her healing and your strength. Lord, please also give us your wisdom to understand today's class well. And also please bless our Professor Surgeon Kim, and also please give us your wisdom to us to understand what you want to teach us and what you want to know us today. Lord, we commit everything in your hand. And thank you for everything that you have done for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We've been doing the Hebrew stem thing since Tuesday. And the Hebrew stem, I know, is quite a challenge. Actually, it's one of the challenging stems in Hebrew. Hifil, and there's another one called Nifal. Once you overcome those ones, I mean, you're able to move forward. It's quite a bit challenging, but as you begin to know and understand the diagnostics and how to identify them, it becomes a lot easier. You can be able to identify them once you see the Hifil stem. I just want to remind us again that we have now learned Carl, we have learned PL, and we are now studying the Hifil stem. So we have learned 3 stems so far. So Hifil is a stem and not the form. So under Carl, under PL, under Hifil, we have the affix form. You can have Carl affix, Carl prefix, Carl participle, Carl infinitive construct, like that. In the Hifil stem, we also have Hifil affix, prefix, imperative, we have infinitive construct. So we have like those forms under the different stems. So when you're passing, to know that Hifil is a stem, just like Carl and just like PL. So that's what I would want to just clarify. I spoke to a few of you yesterday, and so I know there's a bit of confusion with it. So just to remember that we have learned so far 3 stems, Carl, PL, and now we're learning the Hifil stem. So we've done the Hifil affix with strong verbs, and we did yesterday Hifil with hollow verbs. And so today I want us to look at the Hifil with the imperative, the Hifil in the imperative form. So let me just let me share first the screen. Let me share the PowerPoint. The recordings for the class, we are working on them. They'll be up by today, maybe latest tomorrow morning. All the recordings will be up to date so that you can be able to go back and just look at what we've learned. Okay. So you can see can you see the PowerPoint? Okay.
Yes.
I'm trying to see who can read for us. Ami, can you read for us the lesson sentence?
Yes. From Hebrew?
Yes, here.
Okay.
This one. This one. Yeah.
Hagida, li, me, ashita.
Ashita. Hagida, li, me, ashita. Okay, so what are the verbs? Do we have any verbs in this? Can you identify the verbs?
Asa.
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
And?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anybody want to guess which one could be? We have another verb in the sentence. Just do by elimination what is not the verb, and then you'll find the only 4 words in this sentence.
Nagad?
So,
Nagad.
Yeah, Nagad. This is Hagida, and it is Nagad. Okay, so in the Hifil, in the hair and pattern sign of the Hifil imperative for most types of verbs, This is usually found in strong verbs in the imperative form and in fast noun verbs like nagad, we have seen here. We're going to pass the verb in just a few minutes. But when we have, for the he, feel, hollow imperatives, we will have the he with the comments. So this is just an overview to see. And then today we're also going to look at the emphatic he, which normally comes with the imperative forms of imperative forms. Let's just okay. So when we're dealing with the Carl imperative, in the Carl form, Carl imperative, and we're dealing with the strong verbs, this is how we come up with the imperative. We remove the prefix pronoun and its vowel from the prefix, and then we will have the imperative. So from the second person. So we will remove this tab, that tab, and we end up with the chord Picadi, Picadu, and then Pekdna. We end up with those. So one of the things that you will notice, even as we do this, is that in the second feminine singular here, we no longer have the shewa here as the first root vowel. We have hirek instead. It changes to hirek, and also in the second masculine plural, we have the hirek also. The reason being that if you look carefully, you will see that when we remove the tav here, we end up with two shewas, one here and one there. And so this first shewa will come at the beginning, and it will definitely become a vocal shewa because it will come at the beginning. The second shewa is also always a vocal shewa. But in Hebrew, two vocal shewas cannot come at the beginning of a word. And so because of that, the shewa at the beginning, this shewa now changes and becomes hirek. Okay, and so the same happens also in the second masculine plural. So here, when we remove the tav here, we end up again with two shewas. So because of that, because two vocal shewas cannot stand together at the beginning of a word, the first shewa will change to become the hirek. And that's why in the second person, in the second feminine singular, and in the second masculine plural, the shewa, we do not have the shewa as the first vowel, but we have the hirek instead. And so you understand the reason why we have it is because two vocal shewas cannot stand at the beginning of a word. So when we are getting the Carl imperative with the strong verbs, again, you remove the prefix pronoun, and then you have the imperative form of the word. That's why for most verbs, if you know your prefix, once you know your prefix conjugation, if you know your prefix conjugation of the verb, then you automatically can be able to find the imperative the imperative of that particular verb, because you are able to remove the prefix pronoun, and whatever remains becomes your imperative form. But you have to be careful with the second feminine singular and the second masculine plural, because of the two vocal shewas, the first vowel changes from shewa to hirek. So we need to be reminded of that even as you're working out the imperative. So this is the Carl imperative of a strong verb. Okay, so that is the basic imperative form. So when we come to the he-feel imperative, and this is with the strong verbs, the stem indicator will be pata under the he. We will have a pata under the he. When you see the pata under the he, you know that this is an indicator of the imperative form of Hefil. Okay? We have seen that with the other forms of Hefil, we have the Hirek at the beginning. Hirek at the beginning as the stem indicator. So pata under the hair is an indicator of the imperative form of Hefil. So if you know that it looks like a Hefil, like the verb is a Hefil from the Hefil stem, and it has the hair prefix, but with a pata at the bottom, then you know that this probably is the imperative form of the Hefil stem of that particular verb. In the curl stem, we have the shewa at the bottom, at the bottom of the first root letter. But here we also have, in the Hefil, we also have the prefix he with the pata. We do not have that in there. So when you see the prefix he with the pata and then the prefix form of the word, sorry, the imperative form of the word, then you know that this is the Hefil form of this word. So, and as you can see in the second feminine singular and in the second plural, we also have the Hefil stem indicator, which comes between the second and the third root letter, the Hirek plene form. We see the Hirek plene also showing up in the second feminine singular and the second masculine plural, which is also an indicator of the Hefil stem. Okay, at the end of the do we have a question up to there? Okay, let's continue then. So at the end of Hagida, you remember we had this verb at the beginning, Hagida. The hair at the end of it, the hair that we see here, do you see this hair at the end of the word Hagida? This is not a PGN ending, but it is called an emphatic hair. It usually occurs at the end of imperatives and imperative-like forms, and its actual function is not really known very clearly, and it's still a matter of speculation. As it says, most people do not know why they added that extra hair at the end, but sometimes it is said that it is likely added there for a matter of maybe just adding emphasis to the verb or to the imperative, to the command, or to whatever is being asked of the person. Because when in the imperatives, we know that imperatives are usually used to make commands or requests or things like that. So the use of the hair at the end of this imperative would probably or likely be used maybe to just add emphasis to the command that is being given or the request that is being made. So that is what, so now I want us to pass the verb even as we so when we look at the verb now, I want us to really analyze it so that we can be able to understand what is happening. So the first thing we see is what? The hair. Okay? This is an indicator of what stem? I can't hear.
Hefil imperative.
Yeah, Hefil imperative because it has what? The pata under the hair. So it is Hefil. So first of all, the stem is Hefil because we can see it by the by the stem indicator. And then we have what I said to you, we have the emphatic hair. And then now we are left with only two consonants and the plane. Okay? What is how do we find the missing letter? The missing consonants?
The dagish.
Assimilation.
Assimilation. And that usually happens for which kind of verbs?
First known.
First known verbs, yes. So because we do have the dagesh in the first consonant, this is a clear indicator that we are dealing with a first known verb. Because the plane that we have here is an indicator of the He-filled stem. It is not part of the root. It's an indicator of the He-filled stem. So what is our root letters then?
Nagad.
Nagad. So we have Nun, Gimel, and Dalet. And the form is? What is our form?
Imperative.
Imperative form. What is our PGM?
MS.
What?
MS.
MS, masculine, singular. And do we have a special feature?
Can you say
S?
Huh? Yeah.
Second person?
No, the special feature. We're talking about the special feature.
Can you
For
put the
imperative, we have
emphatic here?
person also, right?
Oh, yeah. Second person, masculine, singular. Okay, so the special feature is?
Emphatic here.
Emphatic hair. From now, when you have the imperative which ends with this kind of ending, and you know that it is not a part of the root letters, then you need to include here emphatic hair in the special features. Emphatic hair. Okay? So, what is the meaning? Who knows the meaning of Nagad?
Also declare.
To declare or to tell? To declare, to tell. Okay, I want to explain to you something about Nagad. Nagad is actually a verb that is just in the He-filled stem. So whatever meaning you have in your vocabulary is already in the He-filled stem. So we were saying that when you are translating a verb in the He-filled stem, you either say caused to do something or made to do something. But because Nagad is already in its He-filled, it's already in He-filled, has a He-filled meaning. So we just take the meaning as it is. So when we bring it to when we translate it, we just translate it as it is. Because it's an imperative, we just write tell or tell or declare. So it's either tell or declare. So in the lesson sentence, we also have Lee. How do we analyze this? What parts of speech do we have in this Lee? Can somebody just analyze it and explain it for us? Just only these two. How would you analyze this? This is Lamed, Hirek, Yod.
A position lamed.
Yes.
With pronominal suffix.
Which what PGN?
First person. One CSG.
One CSG, correct. So we have preposition lu with the one CS pronominal suffix. Again, I just want to remind us when we are working with pronominal suffixes, if it comes attached to a prefix, to a preposition, then we translate it objectively. If it comes with a noun, if the pronominal suffix comes with a noun, then we translate it possessively. So in this case, how would we translate this one?
To me.
To me. So if we are to translate the two of them, how would we translate them? Stephen?
Declare to me also.
Stephen, can you translate it for us? These two, the phrase Hagidali.
Tell me. You tell me. Something like that.
No, no. Okay, so this is, start with this and then here.
So you tell me.
You tell me. Or actually, when we are translating an imperative, because it's command, we are commanding somebody to say something, so we just use tell or declare, and especially since it has also an emphatic hey. So how would you translate tell? You tell?
You tell me, tell to me.
Okay.
But I think tell me is better.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The literal translation of this phrase is tell to me, if you are to put everything that is there. But as we smoothen the translation, then we translate it as tell me. So we do not include we do not include the preposition that comes with it. So when we are finally translating it, we just say tell me, and this tell me comes in as a command. Tell me, because we have it is in imperative form, and then we also have the emphatic case. So it's really like the person is emphasizing, tell me what you need to say. So that is how we would translate it in in the to how we translate them together. Okay, so I want us to look at the next phrase. So want to translate the next phrase. Our verb is asita. James, can you translate it?
Okay, I will try.
Mm.
I think the root is asa.
Asa, wait, just give me 1 minute. Okay. Asa.
Asa is third here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is affix. Sorry, stem is cow.
Stem is cow.
Yeah, form is affix.
Cow form is affix.
And then PGN is 2MSG.
Special feature.
No special feature.
What does this mean?
You did.
You did.
And may is interrogative, right? So it's what you did.
What you?
What you did.
What you
What
did.
did you do? It's like that. Is it like that?
It can be actually, because when we look at it the way it is just now, the two of them together, it
Yes.
can be translated as what you did, or
What have you done?
what did you do? Okay,
Okay.
it can be translated two ways. But I just want us first to look at this phrase together step by step. So when we have me is an interrogative pronoun. But me usually is written as like this, ma. The mem, kamet, and head. But now in this, now we see it appearing, and I think this appeared in your translation quiz, if I'm not wrong. It appeared in your, and now we see the me comes with sego instead of the kamets. So I want you to understand that when we have a guttural beginning, the word that follows the me, if you have a guttural as the first consonant, then the me changes its vowel pointing from kamets to segol. Okay? It changes from kamets to segol. When it comes at most of the time, and it's usually used when it comes before the makef, because sometimes you will see it coming with the makef, conjoined to held together with the makef. The makef maybe here, and then we have me or something else. Okay, it usually appears with the pattern, or sometimes with the kamets. They come together with the makef. So that is when it shows up like this. So when it so these are the different ways in which it appears. Ma can appear with a kamet, it can appear with a pata, and it can appear with a segol. So take note, just the way we saw also with the interrogative he. It can appear with segol, it can appear with different vowel pointings. So you just need to know. So before a guttural, it will usually appear with the segol. That's why we are having the segol here instead of the kamets. Okay?
Hello, Maya.
Yeah.
Can you give a little bit of explanation the difference between Gita and Sita? Because I am confusing because the art at the ending.
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So just give me 1 second, I will come to it now. So you understand that, you get that now we have different ways in which we write me, the interrogative, this interrogative pronoun. So when you see me, check and you see the vowel, you know, it looks like ma, the interrogative pronoun, but it comes with a different vowel pointing. You need to check the beginning of the word that follows it. Is it a guttural? Maybe that's why it has the segol. Okay, but then it's not something you really have to memorize. Once you know that the mem and the he, already it gives you an idea that this probably could be the interrogative pronoun ma. Okay, so just take note of that. Now, when we come to asita, I want us to remember. Last week we were learning about third he verbs. Okay, and you find the third he verb sometimes in the second person and first person. Sometimes the he will be replaced by the hirek yod. Okay, that's the first thing you need to remember, that the he will be replaced by the hirek yod. But we know that in the second masculine singular, that it should be ending here, right? This should be where it ends, asita with the tab and the kamets at the bottom. But now we seem to have another he coming at the end. Now this here is actually just the plain writing. Some third hair verbs will actually have, instead of just the ta, the a at the end, they will have the hair at the end, and it's like almost like to hold the a sound. That is why sometimes the hair would be included. And this usually happens mostly with third hair verbs. So if you see, normally the conjugation for the two MSG would be asita with just the kamets. But when you know that it is a third hair verb, and then you see that it has another hair at the end, then you know it's only just the plain writing and it doesn't really make such a big difference. Okay? It's just a matter of just holding the R sound in place. So that is the difference. The one that we have with the imperative, the one that comes with the imperative form of a verb is usually the emphatic he, which is likely used to express emphasis. But this one that is coming with a third he verb in the second masculine singular, as we see, is usually to just hold the R sound. So it really doesn't, it's just more for the pronunciation rather than any, I mean, like any meaningful thing that it does, just mainly for how the word would be pronounced. Okay? Albert, do you understand the difference between the two?
Yes, Professor. But
Kind of.
for the last word, if we have the ha in the beginning, like hakita,
Yes.
and then the BTN will change and special features will change as well.
Wait a minute, with what? Wait, let me go back to it. This one? Okay.
Yes.
So what are you asking?
For the last word, the ashita.
Yeah.
If we have the ha in the front, the ha in the front.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, like if we have, like this ha.
Yes.
This ha at the beginning.
Yes.
This ha at the beginning. This one.
Yes.
If we have it with ashita. Okay, I think I'm understanding what you're saying. If we have it here.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That one will affect the PNG and the special features.
No, if we have it, if you have, and I don't think you can have that here, because if it is a guttural, probably it would be tsere, if I'm not wrong. We would not have the pata at the beginning with the he and the pata with a guttural. So if you have it, it would normally come in, and if it's as a or a word that starts with guttural, it would be different, you know. And so the formation would be different from what we would see, because that would now be a hefil. We're now dealing with a hefil stem and not with the affix. We saw that this is in the affix, and not in the curl. You understand? That would be a different stem, different vowel pointings. Once we had add the hair prefix in front of another verb with whatever pointings that are necessary for it, depending on what it is, then that becomes a different stem. So that would be a hefil stem, most probably, and the vowel pointings would be different. You see, so that is because now we are dealing with, this is curl. As it comes, it is curl. This is in curl stem. So the vowel pointings will be different. The only reason we have the hirek yod here is because this is a third hair verb, and the yod now represents the hair. Okay? But this can be very confusing also, because when we have learned that with the hefil stem, the hirek plane comes between the second and the third root letter. So sometimes when you see the hirek plane coming between the sin and the tab, if you're not careful, you can begin to think that, oh, maybe this could be a hefil stem verb. But if it doesn't have the he preformative at the beginning, it is not hefil stem. That is how you know the difference between the hefil stem and the third he curl verbs. Okay? Because the hirek plane can easily confuse you, because the hirek plane is an indicator of the hefil stem also. So we have the he with whatever vowel that would be there, maybe the pata or the segol or something like that. So if you want to know whether the verb is hefil or it is a curl third hair verb, you look at the beginning to see what is the prefix at the beginning. If there is a hair and then you have the hirek yod, it is probably from the hefil stem. If it doesn't have the hair at the beginning but has the hirek yod, it could be a third hair verb. Okay? Doesn't Amos, you have a question?
Sorry, Professor. Sorry,
Yeah.
Professor. Perhaps I missed what you said about the last hair here. Can you please repeat the last hair?
The hair here in this one?
Yes. Yeah.
This is a planar writing.
And then writing.
Yeah. Planar writing means it's a you see, like we can write I'm thinking of which, you see Holem. We can write Holem like this. Yeah?
Oh, okay, so this is Holland Planner.
Planar, this is Holem planar. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a planar writing, but we can also have Holem like this. You see, we can have Hirek planar, but then we can also just have the Hirek. So this is the planar writing of Kamets.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's just it's only there to hold, more like to hold the R sound. So it doesn't really affect much, and it's usually just only appears most commonly in third hair verbs. So if you see that this is a third hair verb, and that's what you need to, that's why we're learning about third hair verbs the other day. If you see that it is a third hair verb, and then the ending has a Kamet's hair at the end, then you know probably this is the planar writing. Planar writing of the Kamets.
Professor.
Yes,
Professor.
yes.
Are we still talking about the nipple or the nipple like we were last time?
No, it's
like
not.
the tab hey, is that the indication of a nipple verb?
No, we are talking about the he fill stem.
That's it. That's the word, the he fill stem.
Yeah, we are talking about the he fill stem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a special feature?
No, the he fill, that's part of the verb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the verb, that just the way you would have for the prefix form, you'd have the yod and tab and things like that. So it just comes together. You don't include it as a special feature because it is part of the verb. Does anybody else have a question on that? So the difference between the two hairs is that the hair which comes with, let me just repeat that again. The hair that comes, this hair that comes with the imperative form. The emphatic hair, I want you to understand that the emphatic hair usually comes with the imperative forms. Okay, it usually comes with the imperative forms. So that is something that you need to be aware. When you see an imperative form with that, and later on you will see it also in the 1CS. Again, it will show up. So, but it will have a different name, but it just comes with the imperative form. So this is the emphatic hair when attached to an imperative. This one is just the planar writing, okay? Just to hold the sound in place. So that is the difference between those two Kamet hairs that we see, okay? Do you have another question?
Professor, I have a question on the sign of Hebrew imperative, the he. Only pata, or it can be on the vowel point.
Okay, let me just, I think, do you have your textbook? Let's just check the vowel, the verb chart. Check your verb chart of 414, page 449. So in the affix form, you will see that we have hirek all through, hirek at the bottom as the vowel pointing, okay? And then in the imperative form, we have pata all through in all the four PGNs. We have the pata. And then later on, we look at the other pattern. So you see that you have the hirek. For the affix form, which you already did, we have the hirek at the under the head prefix. And then in the imperative, we have pata for all of them. So for all the PGNs, we have he with hirek in the affix, and for all the imperatives, we have he with pata. Okay? So you can look through the, you can also look through the charts to be able to see the differences. And as we said, in the Hebrew strong verb, we have, in the third person, we have, let me just go back a little bit. In the Hebrew affix, we have the hirek, the he and the hirek in all the forms, okay? The hirek in all the forms. And all third persons have the hirek yod between the second and the third root letter. And then in the first and second person, we have the pattern under the second root letter, okay? But now when we come to the imperative form, we have he. Let me go back to the, you see we have pattern under the he in all the four PGNs. But you need to note that here we have a different vowel pointing. We have the tsere under the second root letter. Here we have the hirek plane or hirek yod in the second feminine singular. And then in the second masculine plural, we have the hirek plane again. And then in the second feminine plural, we have the tsere. So that is what you need to take note of, because for all of them, we have shewa under the first root letter. So when you want to know which PGN you're dealing with, you check first the hair and what is the vowel under. Okay, so this is an imperative because it is a pattern. The first root letter has shewa, and then the second root letter has sere. So this is second masculine singular. Okay. We have the same pattern again with the second feminine singular, but we have the hirek yod under the second root letter, between the second root letter and the third root letter. So those are the two differences when it comes to the imperative. The two FSG and the two MPL will have hirek yod after the second root letter. We first of all have the hair with the pattern, and then have the hirek plane after the second root letter. But in the second masculine singular and the second feminine plural, we will have the hair prefix with kamets, but the second root letter will have sere. So take note of the vowel pointings, okay? So don't just look also at just the hair format, the prefix pronoun, but also look at the vowels so that you can be able to identify what PGN you're dealing with, okay? So we have to be careful about those two when we are working with the Hefil stem. But the first indicator that we are dealing with a Hefil imperative with the strong verbs is the he and pata stem indicator. Okay.
Professor, but the two FSG and two MPL in Hefil form, okay, I'm confused. I thought it's the same.
Which one?
There's a verb. He fell to FSG and to MPL, but I didn't see the Kirik.
Shrek.
Shrek. Yeah.
This one in the 2MPL. Yeah, they are very similar. The only difference is the ending. The ending which has U, and here we have E. But actually the vowel pointings from the beginning up to that point are very similar. So the 2 FSG and the 2 MPL are similar. The only difference is their ending where you have U and you have E. Okay? You okay, Romero?
Thank you, Professor.
Is there another question? Okay, so so our final translation is Samson, can you read for us the lesson sentence again?
Okay. Hagida li me asita.
Good. And our translation is? Read the translation.
Oh, read the answer?
Yeah, the English translation.
Tell me what you did or have done.
Yeah. So
and
this
King James Version says, tell me what thou hast done.
Okay. So it can either be so our final translation can either be tell me what you did or what you have done. Okay. So that is our final translation for this. Does anybody have a question? Is anybody confused?
Me, Professor. To be honest.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I really do understand the confusion because we have, the Hebrew stem is a little hard to understand, and we have been going very fast because, I mean, now in Hebrew 2, we do more lessons that we do in Hebrew 2. So what is confusing you? Maybe what is confusing you is confusing the rest of the class also.
Samson, tell the class what you're confusing about.
Everything. I think I gotta do the assignment first, and then I'll ask questions.
You have a?
I said I think I need to ask. I need to do the assignment first, and then I'll ask questions on what I'm stuck on later.
Okay. Anybody else who's confused? I think it's what we'll do tomorrow probably. I'd want us to just review the whole of the Hebrew stem again. We'll go step by step again. We go back through all of it just to see from what we did with the Hebrew strong verbs, and then the Hebrew hollow verbs, and then we come back to the imperatives again. But what I want to, before we do that, what I want you to understand first of all is to just understand that the key thing with the Hebrew stem, number one, is to know that the verb must have the he prefix, okay? If you see a he prefix at the beginning of a verb, that is the first thing to just look at. When you look at the verb and you're analyzing it, and you see that it has he at the beginning, once you eliminate every other thing, and you see that, okay, these are already my roots, these are my, okay, this, what is this hair doing here? So there's this hair, you remove that and you remove that. You know, because now you already know that when you see he at the beginning, probably it could be the, what is it called? It could be the he feel prefix. Then you try to see what else is there, okay? Secondly, look at what vowel is under that he. That should be able to help you. Again, if it is hirek, that is probably the Hefil form, Hefil of the strong verbs. Hefil of the strong verbs. So that if you see the pattern, now we know that it is imperative. Okay? So those are the things that we need to be looking at when you're looking and trying to analyze a verb. From now moving forward, you need to look at them and see. So if it, like I was explaining it to some, when you look at a verb, once you look at it, here is the verb. I have this verb. The question to ask yourself, does this look like it could be Carl? You know, Carl usually appears in its simplest form. It doesn't have too much going on, okay? Then you see that, okay, I have so many letters, I mean, so many consonants here, you know. Probably this may just not be Carl, okay? Then you come and ask yourself, so is this Pierre? Could be, because it has a dageshi here. But the question is it? We only have 2 root letters because this looks like the ending of something else. So this probably is not Pierre's stem, and there could be something else here. So you get the missing letter. But we also see that alongside the consonants that we have, I have a hirek plane, you know. What does hirek plane, what does hirek plane indicate? I have he at the beginning of the word. Just a minute. I have he at the beginning of the word. I have hirek plane here. Probably it could be the Hefil stem. But the Hefil stem normally comes, the hirek plane normally comes between the second and the third root letter. But I do not have another letter here. Again, the missing letter rule would be very helpful. So we know that because it has this, it must be fast noon. So we have Nagad. So we know that now we are dealing with the Hefil stem. Okay? So you always start with what do I have? And also, again, as we learn, you have to be careful because this hair can confuse you because we have hair, pata, and dageshi. What does that indicate when you have hair, pata, and dageshi? The beginning of a word.
If imperative.
No. Sometimes when you have hair, pata, dageshi,
Definite article.
can be
Definite
can look like
article.
yeah, you would think that it is a definite article.
Yes.
You see.
Professor,
Yeah.
it's the reason why it's not a PL stem is it because the dagish forte is not in the middle letter?
Yeah, no, it's because we know that
In the
we only have 2 consonants. We don't have 3 consonants, which means that gives you the indication that probably it is standing for a missing letter. There's been assimilation that has taken place.
Okay, I just wondered if we analyze the verb, do we include the missing letters as though it was there when we look for that dagesh forte, or we analyze it as it appears right now?
So you analyze it as it appears right now because you only have 2 consonants.
Gotcha.
So the first,
I've
in a
always
sense,
wondered
what I would
about
say
that.
is the first priority you give would be towards finding out why. Okay, in Hebrew, you must always work with 3 consonants. Okay, you must have 3 consonants in the verb. So if you only have 2 consonants, the first thing you need to do is find out what is the missing consonant that I do not have. So when you are looking, before you even begin working with the verb, before you begin doing what it is that you're doing with the verb, you need to first find what are my root letters. You see, that should be the beginning point. So if you only have 2 root letters, you need to find out what is my missing root letter so that you end up with 3 root letters before you now begin starting to analyze your verb. Okay? So if you only have 2, now you see we only have 2 here, we have Gimel and Dalet. You see, we cannot begin analyzing it or knowing even what it's all about until we have everything in place. You see? So we only have the 2. So we ask ourselves, where is the missing root letter, the 3rd root letter? So we look at this first root and we see, okay, it has a dagesh in it, which means there must be assimilation that has taken place. And that's how I find the missing root letter. Okay? So in our case, the missing root letter is the first nun, which gives us the word Nagad. So from there, we can now begin to work out we can now begin to go through our translation to try and find out the meaning, the stem, all the other parts of it. You see?
What letters did you just write? It looks like a capital. Is that a capital T? And
no, this is supposed to be this is supposed to be a Dalet.
Oh, it doesn't look like it. It looks like a capital T and the number 2 beside it. Sorry, I could not read your writing.
That is how I
that
write.
Looks like a number 2.
You need to write it properly.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dalet.
All right.
I know you now.
Okay. Are you understanding how I think we need to look at how to, we may need to go back to just see how you identify the different stems when you're beginning to pass the verbs. So how you do by elimination until you get to the final stem that you need to, the final stem. Okay? Is there any other question?
So Hifil would be in the stem column.
Yes. So now we have Kal, we have PL, and we have Hifil, yeah. And please remember that this hair at the beginning this one does not go into the special feature. Okay? Because it is part of the verb.
So, for the emphatic hey, it comes always together with the imperative forms only?
Yes, it comes with the imperative forms of the verb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you will actually you'll be seeing that coming up later when we do the cohortative, the form called cohortative, which is another form of it's a volition of form also, which is but in the 1CS. Okay, so please remember that, take note of it. When we have it in the 2MS in the imperative form, it is emphatic hey. Later on, it will come out as cohortative hey. But that one we will do later as we do the other form. Okay? In the 1CS. So it occurs at the end of imperatives and imperative-like forms, sometimes but not always. So it is not that it will always appear. But it is usually there. But this is usually just to express maybe more emphasis or something like that. Okay? Does anybody have another question before we close for the day? We can close early today.
Does the Hebrew emphasis always have some kind of repetition sometimes?
Yeah, it can have repetition, but then also with this, like when we are talking about imperatives, sometimes like in the, we can have, I don't know that you've done the vocabulary na, sorry, not n, noon. Noon,
Ma'am, for the...
Just a minute. This can sometimes come at the end of, in the 1CS, I mean like a volitional form to emphasize, like please give me, or please let us, something like that. So that would be the emphasis that would be used. This was please, I think we have it in our vocabulary already. Yeah. Phineas, you're going to ask something?
Yes, a while back, the hey planning, and like was that the last slide we saw a while back.
Okay.
May I shita? For the hair planning, don't we need to indicate to the special features?
You can, sometimes some people indicate it to the special feature, but sometimes we don't. But for now, we may not include it, you know, because it really doesn't affect the translation.
Okay.
Yeah, it just the way, it's like when we write, I know there are some people who include it in the special feature, but we will not include it in the special feature. You see, when we have Holland and we have this, it doesn't really change the meaning of the word. You see, it remains the same. So it's just the sound. It's actually the key thing about it is more the pronunciation. Okay. So for me, you don't have to include it in the special
Thank you,
feature.
ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, any other question? I think tomorrow we'll look a bit more at the Hebrew stem and just go back to it a little bit. Okay. And I think if there's no other question, we can just close for today. Can be dismissed to leave. You can leave a few minutes early.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good day.
Thank you,
No
Professor.
assignment today, ma'am.
We have assignment.
We do have assignments.
Why did you remind her? You should not remind her.
I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you guys? Oh my gosh.
You please check on Moodle. It's on page 150.
The pandemic is stressful enough for me.
Page 158. Page 158. Please check on Moodle because I can't remember the exact numbers that I put in. But we have the assignment is on page 158.
And how many vocabulary now? 260? Oh, please don't tell me it's 320.
No, 200 and I think 260 now.
Oh, how merciful. Thank you so much, Professor.
And is it 200? I'm not quite sure. I need to double check that, but it should be around 260 now.
Ma'am,
Sorry for you
would you
guys.
please tell us the assignment numbers, because I cannot open my computer because the internet is very slow.
Okay, just give me 1
The
second.
assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 10.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
On page 158, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is the vocab quiz tomorrow?
Tomorrow is, when is tomorrow, Friday? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is tomorrow.
In class or like last week?
No, just like last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sick,
changes?
Pierce?
Huh?
Is Pierce sick? How come you got a hoodie on? I pray for you. Never mind.
I'm back home now. I'm all good. I'm COVID free.
Oh, praise God
the
for that.
Lord.
Yeah.
Praise God.
We thank God.
Did you have a result already?
Yeah, I had the result, yeah.
Negative result?
negative result. Yeah.
Ah, very nice.
I know.
We
Thank
pray
you for
for
your,
that's
you
good.
yesterday.
thank you for your prayers. They work. It's interesting because my other two friends, one is not sure and the other one hasn't got his results. So but I'm all good. So yeah, thank you.
Keep praying because the vaccine is due to roll out